this video, I want to touch on how damaging it is to grow up in a household where your parents are emotionally distant, emotionally neglectful, and even emotionally abusive, right? Where they manipulate you or they do certain things to get responses from you, to get behaviors out of you, right? And for the most part, I'm not talking about normal discipline, normal teaching of doing chores, normal households where there's a healthy communication, a healthy sense of compassion and empathy from the parent, right? A lot of the times people confuse going through this with just a normal household. But the people I've talked to and that I've helped have gone through more serious forms of this where a parent is lacking total connection emotionally with a child, right? Where there's maybe no affection shown at all between siblings, between parents. There's no saying I love you. There's no hugs. There's no sense of compassion in that sense, right? They can have very dismissive attitudes towards their children where any emotions, any difficult sensations or fears that the child may be having are dismissed and played off as simply seeking attention or something that is not important to address in that moment, right? They just put it off for another day or another conversation that never happens. And they may also show conditional love. There needs to be a lot of conditions that need to be met before their attention is given or their love is given, any sense of connection is given to that child, right? And this can be fulfilling specific roles such as the translator, right? Or the one that is helping them out with all of the bills, all of the paperwork, whatever it may be. And this is especially true in immigrant households, or simply accomplishing all chores, everything that they're told to do to the highest standards, right? Even though they're doing their best, maybe they slip up on one thing, that just leads to the parent instantly belittling them and arguing, yelling, completely demeaning them with harmful words over and over again, right? This is something that is just normal in a household that somebody's growing up in. And the last one I want to touch on is just this overall emotional unavailability where parents just seem to be very distant, unresponsive, or preoccupied with their own troubles, their own broken marriage, their own addictions, their own internal traumas and pains that they have never overcame or even worked on. And they're simply leaving the child to feel unseen, unheard, unwanted, right? This is where those terms that I hear so often, feeling like a burden, feeling like they were never truly wanted, feeling like they were just another body in the household, right? Feeling like their parents were just simply another body in the household instead of somebody that they felt connected to, felt safe with, felt an actual wanting towards, right? And there's a lot of troubling phrases that I've heard from people, and those are the ones that I feel connect a lot with you, so I love sharing them with y'all. The one that I heard recently is feeling fear when knowing a parent is gonna come home, having to turn on that fight or flight mode and be ready for whatever may come, right? Whether it's being ready in the sense of keeping quiet and not saying anything so that you don't set off the bomb, right? Or just being ready in some way to defend yourself or getting ready to yell and argue with the parent so that you can kind of give yourself some respect, right? In that sense, as that's something that's totally missing in this type of relationship with a parent. And a lot of the times what I find is that however you were able to get that connection with a parent, because there's always going to be some good with the bad, right? So there was some times where you were able to connect with them, where you were able to make good memories, where you were able to have fun, laugh, right? And there's not always just going to be a household where everything's going to be bad unless you're in a totally abusive household with more severe forms of neglect, sexual abuse, physical abuse, more severe things going on, right? So the type of household I'm touching on, there's going to be some good and some bad. And whenever you are able to get that connection with them, there may have been a lot of things you needed to do to accomplish that, right? To get that connection with a parent. And this is where I find people are stuck later in life is using these same strategies in their own relationships, in their own workplace, in their own professional life. And it's changed. It's became something else or transformed, right? But the core belief, the core internal processes are the same. They're simply changing with the times, right? Due to your age and what's going on now. And this can severely affect your self-confidence, your ability to speak up for yourself, your ability to be assertive, to trust in your own decisions, to trust in what it is that you need to do for yourself, and then continue on with those things without feeling shame or guilt for having chosen yourself, right? For having put yourself above somebody else's needs. And this is one of the places that I find a lot of people stuck in whenever they've grown up in a household like this. So hopefully this can kind of clear that up for a lot of y'all that are going through these things, right? That are dealing with this feeling of being stuck, of being trapped due to being unable to have confidence in your own decisions and your own wants and your own needs. So I just truly love sharing these patterns and these thoughts and these phrases that I hear from so many people, as I know that this is something that happens a lot in the immigrant household, whether you're Mexican, Latino, African, Indian, Asian. All these households have very similar patterns that keep showing up. So hopefully you connect to this video, and thank you if you made it to this point.